Good morning, ASEAN. Freshen up your world, your thought, your idea with us every Monday to Friday from 7:30 to 8 a.m. I'm Nirasha Marisak-Lamia.
And we natural proceed is Friday, the 12th of July. Let's start first with about investment in the Dawei project, as the Thai Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra has asked the Japanese trading giant Mitsui Company to invest in the Dawei deep sea port in Myanmar when she met with the company's Vice President Senichi Tanaka yesterday. Accompanied by Japan's ambassador to Thailand and Wilasak Gosit-Paisan, Thai Oil's President and Chief Executive Officer Tanaka visited Government House yesterday. Yingluck first met the Mitsui executive during her official visit to Japan in May. Her office said she appreciated Mitsui's investment in Thailand, where it has done business for several decades, and saw the upcoming joint venture between Mitsui and Thai Oil as another step in fostering the relationship between Thai and Japanese private entities. The Thai government is ready to support this joint venture and will assign the Energy Ministry to discuss further details with Mitsui soon, the office said. Yingluck Ambassador Gaikatsu Sato and the Mitsui and also Thai Oil executives discussed investment opportunities to create a trade network among countries in the region. The Prime Minister expressed hopes that the Japanese private sector and Mitsui would join Thailand in investing in the development of Dawei, as the link between that port and Thailand's own Lam Chabang should also profit Japan. Tanaka affirmed that Mitsui was confident in its investments in Thailand and noted that the relationship between the Thai and Japanese private sectors had always been good. Mitsui wanted to brief Yingluck on the progress of the Thai Oil Mitsui joint venture in a lab production plant. Lab is a base substance for making detergent and cleaning solvents for export to leading firms in Japan and other countries worldwide.
And according to Laotian senior government officials, Laos government will meet of its obligation under the Mekong Agreement as it plans to build more hydropower plants. The Laos National Mekong Committee, or LNMC Secretary General Monmani Nuibunkong said in an exclusive interview with Vientiane Times yesterday that Laos has fulfilled the obligations under the agreement and will continue to do so. She spoke to the media after the LNMC Secretary completed seminars on the Three Bill Directive, in which the 1999 Mekong Agreement was discussed for the benefit of central and local authorities around the country. The topic aimed to create better understandings among government officials from central down to grassroots level in order for them to put the agreement into practice. The Secretariat will continue to hold similar workshops around the country as part of its efforts to implement international obligations, according to her. The Laos, Cambodian, Thai and Vietnamese governments signed the Mekong Agreements in 1995, giving legal authority for operations of the Intergovernmental Mekong River Commissions, or MRC. The main purpose of the international agreement is to promote cooperation and support sustainable development within the entire river basin. Under the 1995 Mekong Agreement, any MRC member country that wishes to use water or develop a major project on the mainstream of the Mekong River or its tributaries must follow procedures for notification, prior consultation and agreement, or PNPCA. Monmani said that the Laos government would provide MRC member countries with detailed information on the redesign of the dam in accordance with the requirements of the Mekong Agreements. She added that supplying these details would help members have a better understanding of the project and the modifications they have made to mitigate environmental impacts. Laos has the potential to develop a total installed power capacity of 26,000 megawatts in projects on the Mekong and its tributaries. Development of clean energy to generate revenue for poverty reduction is a national priority.
Cambodia's rice harvest this year is expected to reach 9.1 million tons, down from an estimated 9.3 million tons last year, but up from 8.8 million tons in 2011, according to the Food and Agriculture Organization. The estimates were contained in the UN agency's quarterly crop prospects and food situation report, which showed global rice output expanding 1.9% to 500 million tons. However, prospects are still very provisional, as July and August are critical for the development of the Northern Hemisphere main paddy crops, the report said. In addition, production growth this season could be dampened by expectations of falling prices and recent policy changes that may encourage farmers to shift to other crops. The FAO said harvesting was almost complete for dry season crops and the main rice crops in the southern countries in Asia, such as Indonesia, Sri Lanka, Timor-Leste, and Vietnam. The outlook for the harvest is favorable in most countries due to generally beneficial weather, adequate supplies of fertilizer, and irrigation water, the report added. Now, record harvests are estimated for season crops in Bangladesh and the Philippines, as well as the main wet season crop in Indonesia. But in Vietnam, erratic rains and hot weather, including over the Mekong Delta, had combined with pest and disease outbreaks to reduce the main season crop to 19.9 million tons, down from 20.3 million tons last year.
And US President Barack Obama will welcome his Vietnamese counterpart for a rare visit this month, seeking progress on trade and security issues, despite concern over the communist state's human rights record. Reported by AFP on Wednesday, President Tuong Ton Sang's visit will be on the second by a Vietnamese head of state to Washington since the former adversaries normalized relations, and comes as both governments see growing common interests. A White House statement said yesterday that the president welcomes this opportunity to discuss with President Sang how to further strengthen their partnership on regional strategic issues and enhance the cooperation with ASEAN. The president also looks forward to discussing human rights, emerging challenges as climate change, and the importance of completing a high-standard Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, and the visit will take place on July 25th. Vietnam has been eager to expand military cooperation with the United States as Southeast Asian nations accuse a rising China of increasingly aggressive tactics to exert territorial dispute. While tensions remain high between China and the Philippines, frictions has appeared to ease between Beijing and Hanoi in the run-up to Obama's decision to invite Sun. The Vietnamese president visited Beijing last month to discuss disputes. Chinese state media say that the historic rivals agreed to establish a hotline to resolve incidents involving fishing boats in the hotly contested South China Sea. However, the growing U.S. relationship with Vietnam has faced sustained criticisms on Capitol Hill, where critics accuse the administration of paying only lip service to calls on Vietnam to improve human rights. Administration officials who testified before Congress last month say that Vietnam's human rights record was deteriorating, with the country holding more than 120 political prisoners and stepping up curbs on the internet. Obama has made Southeast Asia a priority, seeing an opportunity to build relations with a region that has posted high economic growth rate and is mostly friendly to the United States. Since the start of his record term, Obama has met at the White House with the leaders of Singapore, Brunei, and Myanmar in a visit that would have been unthinkable before recent democratic reforms.
In Malaysia during the Ramadan, there are several necessary items that enjoy price cuts. So we'll find out more in this special report by The Star Malaysia.
Major retailers have started to put essential items on discount to help Malaysians stretch the ringgit further. These offers come at the same time the nation is celebrating the Malaysia Mega Sale and Muslims welcoming the holy month of Ramadan. As part of its price cut campaign, Aeon Berhad has more than 100 grocery and fresh items that are being sold at between 5 and 15% discount at all 30 of its outlets nationwide from now until August 18th. The products include rice, cooking oil, Nyonya Ketupat, flour, curry powder, chicken, chilies, fish, eggs, and cordial drinks. Domestic Trade, Cooperatives and Consumerism Minister Dato' Hassan Malik welcomes retailers' move to slash prices during Ramadan.
Biarlah kita jual dengan harga yang berpatutan supaya tak membebankan rakyat. Pengeluar tak rasa rugi dan pengguna pula merasakan diri dia selesa dengan keadaan harga itu.
He said after launching Aeon's price cut campaign on Monday. In urging retailers to lower their prices of their goods, Hassan warns that he will not hesitate to take any action if he receives reports of any attempts at profiteering. Meanwhile, Giant's Marketing General Manager Noreen Erika Majaman says that the hypermarket chain will offer up to 60% discount to about 400 different products during Ramadan. Giant's Ramadan promotion will last until August 31st. This year, Tesco Malaysia introduces a Bobo Lambok on Wheels program. The company will give out over 55,000 Bobo Lambok packets across Malaysia to 22 Tesco stores, police and fire stations, as well as charity organizations. Tesco Malaysia Chief Executive Officer Jock Fisher says Tesco also invited children from 4 different charity homes to participate in the Sahur Charity Sweep Challenge.
Next, the Philippines target more tourists to arrive by 2014. Stay tuned.
Philippine President Benigno Aquino has said yesterday that the Philippines is targeting 6.8 million tourist arrivals next year following the lifting of the ban by the European Union on the country's air carriers. Well, Aquino said in a speech during the courtesy call for the 8th Ambassadors, Consuls General, and Tourism Directors tour delegates in Malacanang, the presidential palace, that his country is always looking to improve on its performance. The target for 2014 foreign tourist arrivals is about 24% higher than this year's goal of 5.5 million. He added that he decided to put a little bit more pressure on Tourism Secretary Ramon Jimenez Jr. by adjusting the tourism targets for foreign travelers as well as domestic tourists. Jimenez graciously accepted the challenge. The government is eyeing 10 million foreign tourists and 56.1 million local travelers by 2016, which is the end of Aquino's 6-year term. In the first 5 months of the year, international tourists who visited the country surpassed the 2 million mark. The president hailed the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines for making stunning progress for its work, resulting to the lifting of the significant safety concerns by the International Civil Aviation Organization last March and the removal of the EU ban on Philippines carriers. Meanwhile, Jimenez, for his part, said EU's move to finally allow the Philippine Airlines, or PAL, the country's flag carrier, to resume flights in Europe would be an excellent opportunity for Philippine tourism. From January to May, a total of about 210,000 European travelers visited the country, which is 8.5% more than last year. Most of the travelers came from Britain, Germany, and France. Jimenez said that the Philippines expects a significant increase from these markets to include those from adjacent countries once the PAL flights are made available.
And more than 100 of Muslim Rohingyas in Thailand's detention center gathered together to pray and break fast on Wednesday, which is the first day of the Ramadan. About 110 Muslim Rohingyas staying in Kanchanaburi Immigration Center illegally arrived in Thailand early January this year after fleeing the bloody conflict between Buddhists and Muslims in Myanmar's Rakhine state. As millions of Muslims around the world welcome the first day of the holy month of Ramadan, when they have to abstain from taking food and drinks from dawn to dusk. Thai authorities facilitate and help the people with clean clothes and halal food, as they said everyone has the right to their own religion. Police Lieutenant Colonel Thirawut But Nampet, who is the director of the Kanchanaburi Immigration Center, said that all religions are important and Ramadan is a very important month for Rohingyas. More than 18 kilograms of rice, 15 kilograms of vegetables and 10 kilograms of beef sponsored by Thai government and local Muslims during the holiest months were given to the detention center. The stateless people gathered for iftar and the first meal of the day after sunset to break fast. All of them fled the conflict in Myanmar by boat, hoping to reach other Muslim countries such as Malaysia and Indonesia, but some just put their faith in the hands of God. According to Thai authority, at least 2,000 Rohingyas are detained in Thailand after thousands of them sailed into the sea, fleeing the bloody conflict in Myanmar. There are an estimated 800,000 Rohingyas in Myanmar, many of whom have lived there for generations, but the government denies them citizenships as well as free movement, education and employment. In the predominantly Buddhist country, the Rohingya are seen as illegal immigrants who deserve neither rights nor sympathy. The UN has called them virtually friendless.
Myanmar district and township courts have sentenced 20 more rioters 2 to 15 years in prison for being involved in a deadly riot in Mektela in northern Mandalay region in March. In April and May, 10 other rioters, including 3 main instigators, were sentenced to 2 to 17 years in prison. Meanwhile, police battalions had been formed to quell violence and riots, and plans are underway to form 1 more battalion in Mektela and to add 3 more security companies to accelerate forces in Naypyidaw and states and regions. The report said after modifying the current anti-riot manual, the Myanmar police force will work out a new manual and organize training courses to train police forces in states and regions. The Mektela riot was sparked by a brawl between buyers and sellers over a bit of gold clip at a gold shop in the township on March the 20th. The riot spread to 3 other townships, prompting the declaration of state of emergency since March 12 up to now. Myanmar police force has claimed arrest of 68 suspects linked to the riot that left more than 11,000 people homeless. In the latest development, order has been gradually restored in these riot-torn areas.
And in Myanmar Focus Daily today, we're going to have a look at the advice from the K Bank for SMEs and how to get loan for investment in Myanmar.
Problem that prevents some business people from going into Myanmar is the lack of investment capital, especially for the small and medium-sized enterprises. For Myanmar Focus Daily this episode, an expert from Kasikorn Bank explained the conditions in getting loans for business and investment in Myanmar and the suggestions for Thai SMEs. According to K-Bank expert, getting loan from Myanmar financial institutions is still complicated. To apply for loan, land or land with property is required as collateral. Gold and jewelry have recently been accepted as well. However, foreigners are not allowed to acquire land or property in Myanmar. Getting loan directly from local banks for foreigners seems impossible.
สิ่งที่ทำได้ตอนนี้อย่างที่เคยไปมี2ทาง1คือถ้าใช้แบงก์การันตีจากฝั่งเมืองไทยส่งไปให้ธนาคารที่พม่าเพื่อใช้เป็นหลักทรัพย์นะครับแล้วก็ได้เงินกู้จากธนาคารนั้นแต่จะมีประเด็นอยู่ว่าดอกเบี้ยเนี่ยสูงหน่อยคือ 13% และ long term loan ยังไม่มีจะเป็น short term คือ1 ปีเท่านั้นอยู่เพราะฉะนั้นพอครบ1 ปีแล้วเนี่ยอยากจะทำ lower ก็ต้องเอาเงินไปคืนก่อนแล้วถึงจะทำสัญญาต่อ1 ปีได้นี่คือปัญหาอย่างที่2คือก็ต้องใช้เครดิตเงินกู้จากฝั่ง เมืองไทยนะครับก็คือใช้เครดิตของบริษัทแม่เป็นแม่กู้หรือใช้กู้ลูกก็แล้วแต่จะใช้เครดิตแม่ในการค้ำแล้วก็โอนเงินตัวนั้นเข้าไปเพียงแต่ก็จะมีทิปว่าในกรณีเงินกู้เนี่ยทางธนาคารกลางพม่าเองเขาก็ยังจำกัดในแง่ของการเอาเงินออกนอกประเทศอยู่พอสมควรเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยการนำเงินประเภทดอกเบี้ยเงินปันผลเงินกำไรออกมันต้องมีการขออนุญาตเป็นขั้นตอนดังนั้นการที่จะอยากจะได้เงินลงทุนที่เป็นเงินกู้จากต่างประเทศเข้าไปคุยกับ MAC ตั้งแต่ต้นในการขออนุญาตไปเลยนะครับอาจจะมีการแนบดราฟของตัวโลนเข้าไปมีการคุยกันเลยแล้วก็ตกลงมีความชัดเจนว่าจะต้องโอนดอกเบี้ยกลับเป็นจำนวนเท่าไหร่ต่อปีนะครับและตัวนั้นเนี่ยมันจะสามารถใช้เป็นเอกสารในการไปยื่นกับธนาคารท้องถิ่นเพื่อเอาเงินดอกเบี้ยกลับประเทศได้นะฮะแต่ตัวนี้เนี่ยอยากจะให้ดูนิดหนึ่งแล้วกันเพราะว่าคอสในการลงทุนของประเทศพม่ายังค่อนข้างสูงการที่เราต้องกู้ทั้งหมดเพื่อไปลงทุนยังมีความเสี่ยงอยู่พอสมควรนะครับโดยเฉพาะในแง่ของอยากให้ดูความพร้อมดีกว่าผมว่าอยากให้ดูความพร้อมของตัวเองในประเทศระบบการเงินถ้าในประเทศยังกู้อยู่เหมือนกันกู้เยอะอยู่แล้วต้องไปกู้เพื่อลงทุนเพิ่มอีกอยากให้โฟกัสกับที่ประเทศก่อน
For Thai SMEs who may not have much investment capital, the chief representative of K-Bank suggested that SME should start with trading first to establish its brand in the country, then gradually develop the relationship with local partners as Myanmar distributors also want to expand their businesses. In terms of investment, he noted SMEs entrepreneurs should invest only if a solid opportunity is available. Aravita Misang from Myanmar Focus Daily.
That wraps up our Good Morning ASEANs. For today, see you again, same time, same place, same channel.
Thank you so much for joining us. See you again next Monday. I'm Weena Jongprasit.
And I am Nirasha Malisak Lumi. Have a great weekend. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ